So Aaron, one of the things that you pursued more recently is functional diagnostic nutrition coaching. And so FDN is it's a little bit of a deeper dive. And so talk a little bit about that. Talk about what made you want to pursue it, how it helps you to dive deeper and individualize for people a little bit more.
So again, it goes on the whole still pursuit of supporting the individuals we work with. Again, I got to go through this whole process myself and use myself as, the practice. And I really they work from the philosophy of DRESS, and DRESS is working on diet, rest, exercise, stress management, and then the side benefit is supplementation. So again, supplementation, it's not something I'm prescribing. I'm making suggestions around, if we need to supplement the gaps in their diet, in the stress in their life, and things on that area. But they also go along the philosophy of identifying hidden stressors in the body to support and help someone by coaching up and helping them do their own self-care. So again, it takes off of the model of helping to encourage them to take ownership of their own health. And the side benefit of having this practitioner certification is that I have the ability to help them order functional labs. And they're more to identify the hidden stressors that, yes, emotionally we can be in tune to what's going on, but not always necessarily do we know digestively what is happening. So I can help them access more specific testing, such as a GI map, which does stool testing to look at and identify those hidden stressors.
What are some of the most common hidden stressors that you see?
Often is inflammation. And we know that inflammation is pretty much the root cause to lots of an imbalance in the body. So by identifying those imbalances with inflammation, just like Bill said before, we can't prescribe a meal plan, but we can give them a list of foods that are inflammatory. Right. And tell them maybe these are some foods you want to avoid and here are some foods that you want to add to your diet.
Yeah, I like that. And you're able to do a little better job dialing in with them to say, you're not going to prescribe, okay, here's your diet plan now that we did your functional labs, but you're going to work with them to say, okay, here's what we're seeing from some feedback that's a little more individualized to you. Now let's try this and let's take that out for a little bit, see what the reaction is, and you can work with them as they walk through that journey.
Yep, exactly.
I like it. So Bill, talk a little bit about inflammation.
How did you know we wanted to go there?
What is chronic inflammation?
So chronic inflammation is sort of, as Aaron said, a hidden stressor. We know what acute is. So we sprain an ankle, what happens? The body starts sending blood immediately to it to try and help with the swelling and the recovery and all of that. So when we talk about chronic a lot of times in the early stages goes unseen until we get to the point where we're diagnosed with some of these lifestyle diseases. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is that the standard American diet, which ironically is SAD, not sad for a reason, but it actually, is what it is. And people don't realize that the foods that manufacturers are putting on the shelves have a lot of unhealthy fats that lead to inflammation. It's just one of those things we don't think about until the disease happens or until we start feeling a certain way. And I think one thing that people can really make the biggest impact on with their nutrition plan, not diet, is to eliminate those processed foods and help themselves bring down those chronic inflammation, levels. And I think they'll feel healthier just by starting to do that and eating closer to nature.
Yeah, it's a big thing, Coach. Like you said, you can't necessarily feel it, you can't see it until it gets to the point where maybe they get diagnosed with metabolic syndrome, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, some of these markers, these chronic diseases that we don't know where they came from. Well, there's a lot of factors that led up to that, and it's getting away from what are all these things that are maybe feeding into that, the processed foods, the culture around what we eat, and maybe helping them to identify that and walk with them on adopting new habits.